Plus bulletin. Let's first take a look at the headlines.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
And in tonight's headlines, bomb blast kills one, several injured at a bar in Komamboga. First Lady meets cows over high teacher attrition. Hundreds immunized against polio in Mpererwe. And in sports, Uganda wins bronze at Africa Senior Badminton Tournament.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Good evening once again and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryne Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. Now we start off with our first headlining story this evening. Police has confirmed that an improvised explosive device assembled using local material was used to blast people gathered at Kurib's pork joint in Komamboga, Kawempe division. One person reportedly died and 3 are reportedly nursing injuries. Police have ascertained good leads towards the identity of the 3 key suspects. We have the details.
On the 23rd October 2021 at 8:30 p.m, an explosion is heard by locals in Komamboga, Kawempe division, a Kampala suburb.
And this was past curfew time.
It was only yesterday when that happened. We don't know what brought that. Maybe it was due to a number of customers who had ordered for their meat. That's why they moved up to 8:30.
At a place identified as Kurib's pork joint, adjacent Digida pork joint, and this is a street known for this nature of business. It is a terrific moment of sobbing as a woman, identified as Emile Nyinaneza, aged 20 years, succumbed to severe injuries. The place is cordoned off by security to protect the scene of crime. Eyewitnesses on the fateful night confirmed that 2 fatalities had occurred.
From her account, she was indicating that 2 people are dead, but we've established that there is 1 person who was fatally wounded.
Early morning, security is reinforced. Forensics, scene of crime officers, canine and COVID-19 response teams arrive at the scene of crime for more investigations.
The explosion occurred covering a radius of about 5 square meters. This is not a wide radius, suggesting the improvised explosive device.
We are able to ascertain more information from key witnesses at the time of the blast. This witness was able to identify 3 people who are injured.
The number of injured persons has been lowered from 7 to 3. And these include Chichoncho Annette, Nachito Rose, and Senyonga Peter. Both Peter and Annette are still in critical condition.
Police has established that 3 men disguised as customers and abandoned a polythene bag containing an improvised explosive device assembled using local material.
And the crude materials of nails and metallic pieces. The suspects appeared friendly and interacted with other customers, reaching an extent of even placing more rounds of bites and drinks for them. They disappeared afterwards, abandoning their package.
Area leaders acknowledge patrol presence in the area, though the incident might have taken everyone by surprise.
The patrol is already stationed at the corner, and the information I'm going to investigate that their purpose and their aim is on border riders.
And then we also look at the response of our territorial commanders. So all that is being reviewed by a competent team.
Police reiterates that security and safety are not monopoly for security agencies, but everyone's responsibility to ensure safety. No one has claimed responsibility of the domestic terror attack. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Komamboga.
We do encourage the public to be more vigilant, mostly in cases of security. Now, the Vice President, Major Retired Jessica Lupo, has lauded the family of Honorable Irene Muloni for the good upbringing of their children, saying such a family is the foundation on which the Catholic Church is based, hence producing God-fearing and good citizens of Uganda. The Vice President was speaking at the wedding of the son of Muloni at the Munyonyo Basilica.
The colorful wedding ceremony, presided over by Reverend Father Denis Kizito Sebunya and graced by Her Excellency the Vice President, Major Retired Jessica Alupo, saw Daniel and Tricia becoming husband and wife.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Take this ring as a sign of my love and fidelity. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Flanked by the Speaker of Uganda's Parliament, Jacob Olanya, the Vice President thanked the parents of the two for nurturing good citizens.
Allow me also to congratulate Tricia and Daniel on their wedding day. Congratulations. The family is a very strong pillar in matters to do with sowing the seeds of the church. And having grown in a very deep-rooted way in the church, I know some of the seeds of the church which the families are mandated to sow, and it is a reason now today we have a furnished son of Mr. Muloni called Dennis in this very colorful ceremony. So I would like to congratulate the parents. Daniel, I want to congratulate your parents for inculcating the seeds of faith, truth, morality, humility in you to enable you grow up to that level and attract all of us to this church this afternoon to witness your very important day. In the same way, I would like to thank and congratulate the parents of Tricia for also having been very strong Christians, managing to raise Tricia in a very strong Christian way that has enabled her to shine before all of us and be a very humble bride in front of us. I congratulate her parents and all those who participated in raising her up in a very Christian manner. Congratulate you. I want to thank the choir for singing so well. I am also a very good member of the choir. If you had invited me to sing with you, I would have come to sing with you. I came with a gift to the newlywed couple. I would like to request Reverend Father to allow me to hand over my gift. And I would like to say that I've said all what I've said for God and my country. Since today is your day, you sit. The Vice President will come there and bring the gift there.
The wedding ceremony was witnessed by the parents of Daniel and Tricia, relatives and friends. Etole Eddie Archangel, UBC News.
Now, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robin Nabanja, has emphasized the need for residents of Rukungiri to embrace education of their children. Nabanja, who views a knowledgeable human resource as a realistic driver for development, wants Ugandans to support government programs for social economic progress. She was officiating at the Bishop's annual appeal fund at Immaculate Heart Girls Secondary School, Nyachibale in Rukungiri District.
Upon landing in the western district of Rukungiri on Saturday, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja was driven direct to Immaculate Heart Girls Secondary School, Nyakibali. Arriving to a warm welcome, she was here to officiate at the Bishop's annual appeal fund, an annual fundraising drive. It aims at collecting resources to support development efforts for different programs in Kigezi Diocese. And on behalf of government, she was the lead participant.
Kwanza kusima abantu ba Rukungiri abo kuongera kusagika NRM. NRM kekitebe kichaina amani maingi. NRM is so powerful. I am being sincere to you. NRM is so powerful across the country, and therefore omuntu omugezi wena okutayira NRM abokuba tukabayire kurungo mubusobozi.
Top among her appeals was the need for not only the people of Rukungiri, but Ugandans to invest in human resource through education.
The lowest common motive of development is human resource development. Muongere mukusomesa abana, muongere mukusomesa abana. That's the way to go. Mukama abalindi.
In company of Government Chief Whip, Thomas Taibwa, Nabanja later proceeded to Mitoma District to condole with victims of hailstorms. Here, she oversaw the distribution of food relief aid from her office, a gesture which locals happily welcomed.
As senior top management, we agreed to use 10 billion to distribute food relief and other food items. We also agreed to help those people who have been having issues for quite some long time, like landslides, like floods. So we agreed to use part of that money to work on the floods.
So having this relief shows that really government cares, and we are also going to use it to mobilize our community to show them that indeed not all the time we shall be getting relief. We must start practicing farming that protects the environment. We must plant trees and ensure also we remain as a very, very strong base for the NRM around here.
It is that 10 billion that we are still distributing across the country. Mitoma inclusive, because they got affected by hailstorm.
As she bade locals farewell, prominent among her appeals was for them to keep supporting government programs for more development. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has met with the accounting officers from the local governments to strategize on curbing the high teacher attrition in public schools and arrangements for the reopening of schools. The First Lady met the local government officials, who included chief administrative officers, city and municipal town clerks, on Thursday at Kololo Independence Ground. The meeting was also attended by the Prime Minister, Right Honourable Robin Nabanja, Ministers of Finance, Matia Kasaija, Public Service, Muruli Mukasa, State Ministers in the Education and Sports Ministry, Dr. J.C. Muyingo, Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, and Dennis Hampson Obua, plus a Northern Uganda State Minister, Grace Kuyuchwin.
Our commitment as a sector is to provide quality education and training and sports, and to all our learners at various levels, as you are aware.
The First Lady said this while meeting accounting officers from the local governments to strategize on curbing the high teacher attrition in public schools and arrangements for the reopening of schools. Local government officials, who included chief administrative officers, city and municipal town clerks, attended the meeting at Kololo Independence Grounds. She said that as the technical heads of their respective local governments, the government expects them to ensure functionality of all the processes that result in quality education at all levels. She said that they should ensure that they supervise the general performance of the entire education in their jurisdiction. Mrs. Janet Museveni noted that the accounting officers in their respective local governments are expected to follow up with their human resource team to ensure that the posted teachers have timely access to the payroll. According to Mrs. Museveni, delays have been associated with corruption by the local government staff.
I'd like to ask you to always seek validation with the center before post-primary teachers, tutors, instructors posted to your local governments are put on the payroll.
She also observed that there are complaints of people being charged money in the process of recruitment and deployment, and said that this should also be curbed. She reminded the local government officials that the NRM government is banking on them to use the authority given to them to ensure recovery of the lost learning time. Mrs. Museveni also urged the accounting officers to conduct continuous sensitization of parents and the communities to keep the learners safe and encourage them to study at home using every possible opportunity.
Using radios, televisions, and self-study home study materials. I want you to use your community systems to identify the people responsible for the premature pregnancies and use the available laws to hold them accountable as a deterrent for others.
In addition, she asked them to continuously sensitize teachers, non-teaching staff, and elders in the community above 50 years to go for vaccination so that by the end of the year, all staff in the education sector are fully vaccinated.
Because working with the Ministry of Health, we have really had their cooperation to have the vaccines that are available to vaccinate the teachers and non-teaching staff, so that by the end of the year we have all teachers and all staff of the education sector, meaning all non-teaching staff, vaccinated.
She also asked them to ensure that head teachers are at the school for the safety and maintenance of their school property. When schools open, she said, they should ensure effective teaching and learning in every school by instituting monitoring teams of the lower local government staff that will report monthly.
Lower levels of education will open in January 2022. However, learners of P1 to P3 and S1 to S2 have either never reported back or had a very short in-person opportunity at school.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja pointed out the issue of teachers who have ceased working in public schools still appearing on the payroll.
That problem, Mama, was and is about teachers who access the government payroll but do not teach all those who access our payrolls in rural areas, but after a short period of time are transferred to urban areas without being replaced. This forces the head teachers from rural areas to make parents carry the burden of paying on other teachers
who are not on payroll through PPA charges.
In their memorandum presented by Dustin Balaba, the Cow Tororo, and chairperson of the Cows Association, the local government accounting officers pledged that by the end of November 2021, they will have undertaken a staff survey for all secondary schools and tertiary institutions and taken action.
We undertake to delete all teachers who have not been teaching in the respective secondary schools from the payroll with effect from November 2021.
UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
The Minister for Land, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, has revealed that government is to enact a law to regulate the real estate and land brokers as wider reports continue pinning in fueling land wrangles. Nabakova was responding to reports by land eviction victims in Mityana district who point at land brokers for aiding and siding with land grabbers. We have the details.
This piece of land located at Namakofu village in Mityana municipality is among the over 50 acres of land under contention.
Waliriza okusala mu bibanja byabwe era ebibanja n'abitwala.
Obula kyenjagala anasaasi ku bantu abatunda awo n'okuza nassali singa tukebera ku ndagaano za nassali z'alina omwami tayinza kubulamu.
Although one Rukungiri Pista has for a long time fronted herself as the land caretaker, working on behalf of the land administrators who have kept up since 1970s, her powers of attorney have been challenged on several occasions by the grandchildren.
Abaana mutufu bali mu America, abaana bali babiri nabanoonya wonna n'abaana bange ne bafubako okubanoonyeza ku masimu ezo zimanyi ziyita frisingani. Abaana ne babula ddala nga siina butuufu bugamba nti biki niŋŋamba wano sirabirirawo musaala ndabirirawo lwa buntu nti kitange yalabirira ettaka lino n'avaako nga talina musango gwonna nange ne ntwala obuvunaanyizibwa njagala nveeko nga siina zero yonna.
At this meeting held at Namakofu village in Mityana municipality, the lands minister was brought to the attention of the land brokers as many partly hold them accountable for the current land mess.
Land brokers, what we are trying to do right now as a ministry is look at ways of developing a bill that will be taken to Parliament to regulate their functions, because we have seen that there is a source of confusion in most of the communities, especially when they find that the community is ignorant, they are not aware of their land rights. What they do is to evict them and begin subdividing their land without consent. So as a ministry, we are concerned and we cannot simply sit and keep quiet.
Nabakova also noted that government is also devising means of protecting the elderly and orphans who have become prey to the land grabbers.
You realize that in most of the places I've been to, the elderly are witch hunted by their own relatives. It could be their daughters and sons, it could be their grandsons. Then even these property deeders target the elderly, meaning that as government we need to come up strongly to make sure that the rights of the old people are protected.
For those who are facing eviction at this land, Minister Judith Nabakova directed the police to hold all unlawful activities, not until her ministry guides on the way forward.
Because people don't know who their landlord is, I'm stopping all transactions on this piece of land. Not until my officers investigate fully, we shall call the said landlords to also bring documentations to that effect, because you've had accusations and counter-accusations. Different transactions have taken place without knowing who exactly owns this piece of land in Chiwesa.
The lands minister also assures the general public that government is finalizing amendments in the Land Act with hopes of freezing the rampant land evictions in the country. Robert Nyaguo, UBC News.
University students under Institute of Electricals and Electrons Engineering sector have trained over 100 girls and boys in Kotido district in making reusable pads. The reusable pads skilling and menstrual hygiene management project training was conducted at Kotido Senior Secondary School in Kotido municipality.
Karamoja sub-region, like some other parts of the country, is experiencing high teenage pregnancy, school dropouts and early marriages. It's against this backdrop that university students under Institute of Electricals and Electronics Engineers and a project reusable pad skilling and menstrual hygiene management decided to train youth in Kotido district how to make reusable pads.
And all the other necessities needed to make these pads. We took them through the different procedures, of which with time, with practice, if you keep doing it, it gets easier to do.
Girls were the most affected, and we looked at the cost of buying normal pads, which is going to be very expensive for the already hitch guards and their parents. Maybe they could not have.
Keno Isaiah, chairperson of Jai Star, an organization which brings together Jai students, says they came up with this initiative to provide better livelihoods among communities.
Where most girls dropped out of schools, got other sexual transmitted diseases because the only way to get pads, because these people are not having financial abilities. So the only way to get pads is just to try, maybe go to a boy, ask for pads, and you know when the boy asks for pads, they be like, okay, if you want pads, maybe they have first to go for sex. So in that exchange, the girl shall remains, maybe when she's pregnant or with other STD.
Beneficiaries say they are to train fellow youths who did not get a chance to attend.
For this project, because it has really helped us a lot. Some of us didn't have access to these pads because some parents are too poor to afford these pads we buy in the shops. At least now this project has helped us a lot. We have learned some skills. We can even make them on our own. We can even help the villagers so that they avoid being so redundant and stigmatized when they're in their ministry.
This skill I can also go and teach my sisters, my village mates in the village there, and some of them will also benefit from this, and they will also start making by themselves. This is one way of helping the girl child to feel comfortable in public.
And Ahimbisi Wedan says the 5 years project targets over 1 million girls across the country.
In which we shall be moving in different areas, districts, of undeserved communities, and we shall train them how to make their own pads. Instead of just donating to them pads, we shall just teach them the skill. They can use local materials. I think 60% of the materials we have used here, we have shown them they can access them locally here.
Ahimbisiwe wants government to involve youth in implementing some of its programs for effectiveness.
Resources. But the government injects a lot of money, billions of shillings into such projects, but the impact is less. So I can call upon the government to always help us.
The deputy head teacher, Kotido SS Owili Jime, says the Ministry of Education should include such projects in their programs to enable girls complete school.
If the ministry can include it in their programs, it will be so useful because it will now go to many schools.
Keno says they are to train over 6,000 youth in Kotido before the end of this year.
The local community girls that do not go to school, and also those who are in primary school, we shall move around the primary schools in GA, in Kotido district, then also move in the secondary schools in Kotido. So by the end of this year, we want to get 6,000. And by next year, we have around maybe 17 to 18,000.
Reusable pads, scaling and menstrual hygiene management is a 5 years project which targets to reach over 100 girls across the country, training them how to make reusable pads. Jethro Kasaiji, Maureen Iga, UBC News.
The Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology and National Guidance, in partnership with Posta Uganda, wants a reduction of congestion during service delivery. The State Minister for Information, Communication and Technology, Joyce Nabosa-Sebugwao, says the ministry has already embarked on the campaign to expand internet services in various areas across the country. We have the details.
Registering and acquiring travel and identification documents will soon be easier than ever before as the ministry taps into online services. The State Minister for Information, Communication and Technology, Joyce Nabosa-Sebugwao, confirms that application and issuance of national IDs, passports, birth certificates, driving permits, among others, will be an online activity.
with the poster instead of lining up as it has been the case in acquiring things like passports, birth certificate, national ID. We are going to use now poster online. You just go there, you get the forms online, you take the information there, they send you a message at the end of that day after being paid for it. They send you a message on your phone to go and collect your passport or any document at the nearest post office.
This was during the minister's visit and address to communities on radio stations in Mubende, Mitiana and Chiwoga districts. The minister cautioned the youth against using online services like social media to abuse leaders. Some of the political leaders in these districts of Greater Mubende reported to the minister some of the disturbing issues like poor turn-up for vaccination.
See how the other district can be on board, how Chiwoga can be on board, and how we can speak with the authority when we know what we are talking about. Regarding the Myoga program, YLP, these are monies which a big challenge that you think money has been given to them free. Yet
omumezi obulungi n'obuseera kandi n'obuseera kuraba mu kugemwa akuba twabagambire emibazi yona izire health centers zoona 3s and 2s akuba nindora nagayazi.
Jethro Kasaiji, Salongo Kasibante, UBC News.
The Rotary Club of Kampala North has led stakeholders in polio immunization exercise at St. Stephen Church of Uganda Hospital in Pererwe. The President, Rotary Club of Kampala North, Priscilla Nchiboneka, says they are working hard to immunize children against polio.
Hundreds of children have this Sunday been immunized against polio at St. Stephen Church of Uganda Hospital in Impererwe. The exercise was championed by non-government organizations led by Rotary Club of Kampala North with support from Kampala Capital City Authority.
The Rotary has been at the forefront of supporting polio eradication over the years. So Rotary has contributed about $2.2 billion to vaccinate about 3 billion children in 122 countries all over the world. So it's not a single effort, but Rotarians all over the world, spearheaded by Rotary International, have been at the forefront of supporting polio eradication.
Priscilla Nchiboneka says the major aim of the health camp is mainly as a support to the community around the Impererwe area who seemed to be in need.
This called for intensive efforts to make sure that we now work hard to make sure that people are vaccinated against polio. Because once you get polio, there is no treatment. But the good thing, you can be vaccinated against polio. So because of that threat, we are intensifying efforts to make sure that people are vaccinated against polio.
Kampala Capital City Authority Director of Public Health, Dr. Okello Daniel, advised parents to champion general hygiene in their families.
You can never say you're done until polio is eradicated. So we are done with polio. Polio that is in the environment, and as long as it exists in the environment, we always have.
The Rotary Club of Kampala North have partnered with USAID CFU to strengthen polio immunization systems. Story compiled by Kenneth Tanaba for UBC News.
Thank you so much.
Parents who produce children with abnormal heads due to Spina bifida and hydrocephalus condition should not look at it as a curse, but a mere medical condition cured by folic acid drugs. Any child born with such a challenge identified at birth can access immediate medical operation at Ruharo Mission Hospital and Mbarara Regional Referral Hospital.
A clinician and occupational therapist working with organized useful rehabilitation services at Ruharo Mission Hospital, Gerard Ayebazibwe, has said spina bifida and hydrocephalus can be cured. This was during a mobilization and sensitization awareness campaign on spina bifida and hydrocephalus condition in the communities across southwestern Uganda.
If you add the two words, you come up with spina bifida, split in the spinal cord. It happens in children when they are still in their mother's wombs. It happens in the first 28 days after conception. That is where during the development, during the spinal cord formation, the bones or spinal vertebrae, they don't reunite very well, leaving a gap. That is the bifida, that is the site where bifida or a wound develops. Spina bifida is caused by lack of a nutrient called folic acid in the body. 2 months before conception and then in the first 3 months of pregnancy. What happens or how do we deal with spina bifida if it is already there or once a child has already had spina bifida? Immediately after birth, a child can even go to theater the following day and then goes for operation, and then that bifida or the wound is removed.
Gerard Ayebazibwe clarifies that as a child is identified with a problem after birth, the child can be taken to theatre and operated on medically. The National Youth Leader, Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus Organization in Uganda, Kamukamario Beautiful, said the purpose of the mobilization is to create awareness to the public in order to help people born with spina bifida and hydrocephalus conditions to access services.
Come to find that many people with spina bifida and hydrocephalus are neglected worldwide just because at a point they are different in what they do and they cannot ably access what they want, but that does not mean that they are unable, because we believe disability is not inability. We call upon our communities, the government, to work in hand with our service providers, our parents, so that we can fully acquire all the special needs, the basic needs like any other human being, because we believe you and I can make it through, because disability is never inability.
She said disability is not inability, and the World Day for Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus Organization in Uganda will be commemorated on October 25th, 2021 at Hotel Africana in collaboration with global and national organization.
Government has moved to conserve natural resources in and around Lake Nyaguo in eastern Uganda. A new conservation management plan has been approved among the 3 districts of Ngora, Palisa and Kumi that share the water resource. State Minister for Fisheries Helen Ador says the eminent in the plan is to preserve aquatic and endangered birding creatures.
It is seen to be recovering from human-induced degradation. The fish catches are reported to be increasing under a protected wetland catchment. Lake Nyaguo is, however, threatened by illegal fishermen. It is a vice which unfortunately goes a long way in affecting natural resources around. This is why there is need not just to exploit, but to protect and sustain natural resources here, something locals agree with. National Fisheries Research Institute has instituted a management plan to protect Lake Nyaguo Community Conservation Area. The plan has been agreed upon by all technical and political leadership of the 3 districts of Ngora, Kumi and Palisa that partake of Lake Nyaguo.
And so we felt that there was need to actually protect this lake so as to preserve those ecological values and the integrity of this lake.
And in this we are considering the lake which is aquatic but also the surrounding area, which we refer to as the terrestrial habitat.
In the plan, a strategic direction, intervention and management objectives to sustain the lake and its resources are provided for.
For the sake of ourselves, for the sake of our children and the children of our children, let's protect, conserve, and jealously keep this lake.
We are looking at a conservation under the Ministry of Wildlife and Antiquities. So in conservation, the people involved are the community members themselves, who will conduct patrols, who will eliminate illegal fishing, because they best know those who fish badly.
Proved an important component of Lake Kyoga Basin, Lake Nyaguo is often referred to as a living museum for the native biodiversity. With the National Fisheries Bill in offing, State Minister for Fisheries Helen Adoa describes the Lake Nyaguo management plan as timely.
Because even on the side of breeding, it's the best lake with breeding. And this is the lake that as government we need to restock, so that after restocking, let the fish grow more, and we make sure that the people who use illegal nets should not be near.
In agreement with locals who call for army deployment on the lake, Adoa advocates for inclusion of the enforcement aspects in the upcoming fisheries bill.
Whether it's a fisheries protection unit, whether there's, but if we don't put the element of enforcement with a gun, because these criminals, some of them have got guns, they pass through the lake with these guns. So we need aspect of enforcement, not just for a fisherman, but also for criminals in the lake.
Providing refuge to many threatened aquatic wildlife, Lake Nyaguo Management Plan also targets its riparian buffer zone. It covers 50 kilometers that are threatened by rice growing, vegetation burning, overfishing, and harvesting of papyrus. Henry Okrut, UBC.
State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has asked schools, places of worship and Ugandans to appreciate environmental protection by involving themselves in tree planting and avoiding deforestation. Muyingo says schools and places of worship should use part of their land to plant trees to enable youth and communities appreciate the relevance of environment by planting trees around their homes to fight the drought, especially in the cattle corridors.
The Cattle Corridor and neighboring districts are facing a dry spell, though the rest of the country is experiencing a rainy season. Kamira Sub-County in Luwero district is one of the areas where communities are crying, experiencing a long dry spell spectre. It is for this reason that Kasana Luwero Diocese, in partnership with Rotary Club of Bokoto, is embarking on the Green Mission project aimed at restoring tree cover. The Green Mission project has been launched at Garikwoleka Primary School with an initial 4,000 Musizi trees on the 6 acres land donated by Kasana Luwero Diocese in Kamira Sub-County, Luwero District. The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, commended the Diocese and Rotary Club of Bokoto aimed at restoring forests through tree planting.
I'm calling upon all head teachers, schools, government and non-government schools to participate very actively in this program of planting or restoring our forest cover by planting trees. Let each school have at least a tree planting area that will be used to instill in our children the culture of protecting and planting trees.
The Vicar General of Kasana Luwero Diocese, Monsignor Francis Javier Mpanga, said the church will continue boosting environmental protection and encourage Christians during baptism, weddings, graduation functions to plant trees in memory of those historical days in their lives.
We want to express our gratitude to the Bishop of Kasana Luwero, Right Reverend Paul Semogerere, for having accepted the request from Rotary Club of Bokoto to come and initiate the tree planting project in this area at Garikwoleka.
We also thank the Rotary Club of Bukoto for the wonderful Mission Green project they have launched today here at Galikoleka. Thanks so much.
The President, Rotary Club of Bukoto, Edith Mujuisha, also promised that Rotarians will continue to serve communities because this is their corporate social responsibility.
The Rotary Club of Bukoto and the Kasana Luero Diocese. Kasana Luero Diocese, your contribution will allow us to have a significant impact on the environment, on the environmental impact. That you believe in what we are doing means a lot to us.
Story compiled by Salongo Kasibante for UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a short break, but we return with business news.
Grow together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN Mobile Money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Parents and guardians, this month of October, take all your children aged 15 years and below to the nearest health facility or outreach post for Integrated Child Health Days to receive a wide range of free services. The services will include immunization to protect them against killer yet vaccine-preventable diseases like measles, rubella, polio, diphtheria, whooping cough, pneumonia, meningitis, diarrhea, tetanus, hepatitis B, tuberculosis, and cancer of the cervix. Your child will also receive vitamin A and deworming tablets. Girls aged 10 years old and those who missed their second HPV vaccine dose will receive HPV vaccine to protect them against cancer of the cervix. Girls and women aged 15 to 49 years will also be immunized against tetanus and diphtheria. Due to polio outbreak in the region, every child under 5 years should be fully immunized as per the routine immunization schedule. Vaccines used for immunization are safe, effective, and free and have been approved by the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization. Remember to follow all the COVID-19 prevention measures, including wearing a mask when in public, hand washing with water and soap, and keeping a distance of at least 2 meters from another person. Integrated Child Health Days, a healthy child, a happy family. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, World Health Organization, Earth, and partners.
Hello, it's me again, Jenny Kafuluwa Shares. In my other video, I showed you how to open an SCD account using MTN Momo. Now let me tell you about the MTN Shares offer. You can apply for MTN Uganda shares for as low as 100,000 shillings. And the offer even gets better when you apply using MTN Momo. Because for every 100 shares you apply for, you get 10 extra shares. Enyongeza for free. Yes, it's true. There's no limit to the number of shares you can apply for. No. So are you ready to apply for some MTN shares? It's very easy. Just get your MTN phone and follow these very simple steps. First, dial *165*65# or use my MTN app. Then select 2 to apply for MTN shares. Select 1 to apply for MTN shares for self. Your SCD account and broker details will be instantly shown to you. Please reply with option 1 to confirm. Select the option of the number of shares you want to apply for, then enter your PIN to authorize. Finally, please select option 1 to confirm that you have read the prospectus and accept the terms and conditions. You will now receive an SMS confirming your application. That's it. You will now have to wait a bit for the approval of your transaction. The shares allocated to you will be confirmed after the offer period closes by the end of November. Oh wait, before I go, let me remind you about the terms and conditions. Please read them and the prospectus before you apply. And if you need any further assistance, go to any MTN service center, a Stanbic Bank branch near you, or a licensed stockbroker.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryne Kazimoto and Muhammad Mogalu on Sign Language. Now into business, a team of 19 researchers from the East and Central Africa have completed a tour of Uganda's agriculture prowess. They were here to benchmark and visited projects and the National Agriculture Research Organization.
Research and science experts under the Association for Strengthening Agricultural Research in East and Central Africa, ASARECA, have completed a one-week benchmarking exercise in Uganda.
ASARECA is enhancing the capacity of all these agricultural research for development within the 14 member countries in terms of ensuring that the knowledge products are also shared across the member countries. We as ASARECA are mandated to coordinate regional projects, to facilitate these people to come together and to learn. We are also supposed to be a partnership broker, where we broker partnership between these member countries so that they can cross-pollinate, they can learn together, they can have technologies and share these technologies across the borders.
The agriculture experts from Burundi, Cameroon, Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, Eritrea, South Sudan, Sudan and Madagascar were here for practical training and knowledge sharing.
And we're very happy also for ASARECA to bring this number of scientists to benchmark with us at NARO. As NARO, we got established since 1992 with an act of parliament, and later we went through reforms in 2005, and presently our mission is to innovate for agricultural transformation in the country.
They went to the three major National Agricultural Research Organization centers of Namuronge, Kawanda and Namalere, and were impressed by Uganda's progress.
For 5 days we have been able to go around the country, visit the different agricultural research institutions, and we have seen the advanced technologies in certain domains that are lacking in our country. For example, I was very impressed with the harvesting of embryos and in vitro fertilization of cattle.
This benchmarking exercise was achieved in collaboration with the International Fund for Development and the European Union, purposely to help improve research in agriculture, which employs about 70% Ugandans, either directly or indirectly.
Now, in 2008, government hatched a 10-year plan to establish industrial parks in various sub-regions of Uganda with an aim of addressing unemployment. This also meant to promote the use of local materials, improve trade balances while creating wealth among citizens. In this feature, we share government's progress, challenges and opportunities as they undertake this task, targeting to establish 25 industrial parks by 2026.
Sector contribution to GDP for the financial year 2020-2021, according to the Bank of Uganda, was recorded to have increased to 27.4% from 26.5% the previous year.
We still believe that, yes, manufacturing was affected, but that has been temporal. With the opening, we believe that manufacturing will respond, manufacturing will recover, and also the entire industry, including water, including electricity. Those should really remain, vibrant going forward.
This performance is motivating both government and potential investors to put a stake in what seems to be a resilient sector.
We have been importing. Now the strategy is we want to produce locally processed products, but also export. But then how do you do that? You must industrialize.
Government of Uganda is currently overseeing the management of 9 industrial parks out of the 25 mark target, and these are Kampala Business Industrial Park, Luzira and Bweyogerere seated on 45 acres. Others are Soroti Industrial Park, Kasese Industrial Park on 217 acres, Mbarara SME Industrial Park, Moroto and Mbale Industrial Parks.
Focus of government is agriculture-based manufacturing. How do we go up that value chain of agriculture so that we can export our finished products and stop sending away money and jobs to other countries? When we send raw coffee, just the beans to other countries, we are sending away jobs.
The last 5 years have seen drastic increased development of these parks. Land in Kampala Business Industrial Park, also known as Namanve, has been allocated to 530 prospective investors for development in various subsectors, such as agro-processing, mineral processing, ICT, among others. 80 industries are operational, over 100 nearing completion, and over 300 under construction. Namanve Industrial Park is projected to create 57,452 jobs while economically empowering the people in the communities.
Because I remember by the time I came here, it was a remote area. A few people, few customers, business was down, but at least now, yeah, it's promising. Yeah.
We've managed to get jobs from these industries, from the warehouses, and even including offloading and loading goods from different areas, which come from different areas.
Early in 2021, President Museveni directed Uganda Investment Authority to establish 25 industrial parks, and that local government in every sub-region around the country avails over 500 acres of free land for industrial park development.
Land for industrial park development should be free of encumbrances, but should also be free, given free to UIA to develop. The reason for that is when we are giving this land to investors, it's also free. We should not charge investors land for industrial park development.
So far, Uganda Investment Authority has acquired over 5,000 acres of land in western and northern Uganda, where land search initiatives have concluded. This is the chant of the Lango community celebrating the handover of land to Uganda Investment Authority for industrial park establishment.
Our humble appeal is that the investments start immediately. But more specifically, that the local investors should benefit first.
But there's a criteria of determining who an investor is by Uganda Investment Authority. So it's important for them to come and educate our businessmen so that they are able to also register their businesses as investors.
Despite efforts by local government to avail land for investment, delayed utilization of industrial park land has over time affected full potential of land incentives.
It also adds confidence in the community that each time government is saying they're coming to do something, they really mean it and they do it on time. So if they don't do it on time, it becomes a problem next time for us as local leaders to convince the community that there is a government program coming up that you need to participate in.
As part of development and to enable attractive investment, UIA is to carry out infrastructure developments like construction of power lines, roads, drainage, extension of water to the parks, installation of border markers, and developing engineering designs of the roads.
The president's vision is address the cost pushers, make it cheap. One of the cost pushers is electricity, and that's why he directed electricity has to be at 5 cents. The other cost pusher being water, he directed that the industrial water has to be available at 2,500 as opposed to 4,500. The president directed that the other capital cost pusher is access to finance. And he has directed us to make finances available and an interest rate of 8%.
And of course, the locals here will be the ones to take the jobs here. That's why you have regional industrial parks, so that we can use the skills on the ground. So I encourage the locals here to really get ready to work and get the skills that are needed for industrial production.
By 2015 alone, over 33 billion shillings had been spent on the current 9 operational industrial parks.
We, as a member of the Budget Committee of Parliament and also a member of Finance Planning and Economic Development of Parliament, we are looking forward to supporting the Minister and also supporting Uganda Investment Authority with the requisite money that they need to build the 25 industrial parks.
Uganda Investment Authority plans to establish 5 industrial parks annually in partnership with other government agencies and ministries, along with UPDF's Engineering Brigade championing construction. More land mobilization initiatives in eastern and central Uganda are expected to conclude by 2021. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News.
Hello, it's me again, Jenny Kafuluwa Shares. In my other video, I showed you how to open an SCD account using MTN Momo. Now let me tell you about the MTN Shares offer. You can apply for MTN Uganda shares for as low as 100,000 shillings. And the offer even gets better when you apply using MTN Momo. Because for every 100 shares you apply for, you get 10 extra shares. Enyongeza for free. Yes, it's true. There's no limit to the number of shares you can apply for. No. So are you ready to apply for some MTN shares? It's very easy. Just get your MTN phone and follow these very simple steps. First, dial *165*65# or use my MTN app. Then select 2 to apply for MTN shares. Select 1 to apply for MTN shares for self. Your SCD account and broker details will be instantly shown to you. Please reply with option 1 to confirm. Select the option of the number of shares you want to apply for, then enter your PIN to authorize. Finally, please select option 1 to confirm that you have read the prospectus and accept the terms and conditions. You will now receive an SMS confirming your application. That's it. You will now have to wait a bit for the approval of your transaction. The shares allocated to you will be confirmed after the offer period closes by the end of November. Oh wait, before I go, let me remind you about the terms and conditions. Please read them and the prospectus before you apply. And if you need any further assistance, go to any MTN service center, a Stanbic Bank branch near you, or a licensed stockbroker.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
All right, and now into sports. Uganda has settled for bronze at the All-Africa Senior Badminton Championship. Uganda fielded 12 players in the championship that started on Thursday, had a good display beating Africa powerhouse Egypt. The pair of Brian Kassirie and Shamika Fadila in mixed doubles managed to escape the quarter-final stage with a convincing victory against Mauritius team, winning in a straight set.
Bronze medal yesterday in the team events, so it is going to make us more confident in the individual events, because these players, they don't play anything different in common. We do the same things, just that they are more consistent than us in some ways or the other. So I believe we need to be more calm and place our shuttles well, game placing, and also we have to be determined and aggressive. Yeah. The first time, I think, in a long while, we have not been able to reach this far in such a kind of tournament. So, and we managed to get a bronze medal. So I believe we have qualified with more points to play in the Commonwealth. And when we get there, in case we get there, we shall work our best.
In general, the performance of the team has been, I don't know how I can term it, but it has been extra because every other person that played, they put in their all. So I'm sure there's going to be much more to see, mostly in the individual events.
As we got, I think it just added some confidence into us, yeah. And if you look at the games these people have played, there is hope. There is hope that we can go out there and stand podium. So I'm hopeful.
Bronze will motivate me to get more in a way that I would want to get something better than bronze. So I think I would do my best to get something better than bronze in my individual games.
In a camp, starting of this year, I went for a camp in India for training. Then during this competition, I mean, we have been training so hard. I mean, training from CFK Badminton Academy with good training, with good food. I mean, the facilities. So we have been getting better things to prepare for this tournament. So.
Right now, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, but before we sign out, let's first take another look at what our headlines looked like tonight.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In tonight's headlines, we had bomb blast kills 1, several injured at a bar in Komamboga. First Lady meets cows over high teacher attrition. Hundreds immunized against polio in Mperedwe. And in sports, Uganda wins bronze at Africa's Senior Badminton Tournament.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
We'd like to thank you so much for your company this evening, and also to encourage you to maintain all the Ministry of Health SOPs against COVID-19. Keep safe and keep alive. I'm Lauryne Kazimoto and Mugalu Muhammad. We wish you a blessed week.